My game is gonna be a whole hell lot better than your game. I can see y'all speechless.
Forgot to myself because I'm doing something real quick. I don't know, Pinhead. I think Michael Myers games, the Halloween games, gonna be more popular than the Hellraiser game. We'll have to see.
Well, let me tell you all the ways that the Hellraiser game will be better. Because you will have to go through hell to beat me. It has nudity. It has violence. It's gonna have a good storyline. And I'm going to be a big part of it. And plus, the great voice of Doug Bradley is coming back to play me in that game. That's right. Prepare, Michael, to go to hell.
Fell out of his hand. This freaking knife does not want to stay in his hand. Shit. Even when I put it further up in his hand. Well, here comes the other Michael to stab at him. Oh, you can't see that, yeah. Now they're both stabbing him.
The evil must die! The evil! The Halloween game will be a lot better than that stupid Hellraiser game.
That's probably the closest thing you're going to get to Michael Myers first. Pinhead. Let's get these figures out of the way. And then I'll start the video.
We're going to move the camera back, move the table back, and everything.
Let me get this started. Sorry. Maybe I should have these better. Let's move the camera back. Let's scoot the chair over a little bit more. Oh, this is Mr. Hornsby 3. This is the Mr. Hornsby 3 show, and today, I was just going to talk about the Halloween game and that big reveal we got last week, but I figured, heck, why not talk about the Hellraiser game as well? That's why I started the show off with the Pinhead Michael Myers skit. But, anyway. Let's talk about the Halloween game first, because that's the one I'm more excited for, because I'm a big Halloween fan. Ever since I was 6 years old, the first ever horror movie I ever watched was Halloween. As I started getting older, I did start seeing stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all that stuff. But I remember I used to watch the first Halloween all the frickin' time. I mean, all the time I'd watch the first Halloween. And, boy, the thing my parents were parents, they're like, oh no, that'll make you violent and evil. But you know what? They also knew to tell me that this stuff was fake before they would let me watch it. That's what good parenting is. You gotta, if you're gonna let a kid watch something like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, and all that, you gotta tell them, look, this ain't real. This is a movie, not real. But, yeah. So last week, we got the trailer reveal of the new Halloween game, which ain't coming out till next year. And I think that sucks because I really wanted it to come out this Halloween season, because I've seen what the other Halloween game looks like, and that game looks garbo. But this new one looks pretty good. Also, I've heard that there's going to be a 4-player multiplayer. It's going to be, well, it's actually going to be 5. You'll be Michael Myers, and you get to kill 5 victims, or 4 victims. I don't know if you get to call Lumens or anything. And it's going to be kind of similar to Friday the 13th, but it's not, because there's no way for the characters to kill, as far as I know, there's no way they'll be able to kill Michael Myers in the Halloween game like you could Jason in the Friday the 13th game. And honestly, I gotta say, I think that's kind of lame. Like, you know, there should be some kind of thing where you don't do it as a victim, but like you have to call Lumez, and whoever Lumez is has to come there and he kills Michael Myers. Because, you know, Lumez has killed Michael Myers numerous times in the Halloween movies. If you've watched them, outside of 3, it's always been Lumez. Lumez killed Michael Myers at the end of Halloween 1, but he got up and walked away. Then Lumez killed Michael Myers we thought he killed Michael Myers and himself in 2, but we find out in 4 that both of them were still alive. Now 4, Lumez really didn't take down Michael because it was like the state troopers, Sheriff Meeker, and all that what took Michael Myers down in that one. But in Halloween 5, Lumez is the one that tranquilized Michael Myers and beat the living hell out of him until he freaking passed out. So I think, yeah, you shouldn't be able to kill Michael Myers yourself as a victim, but you should be able to call Lumez, and the person that ends up coming back as Lumez is the one that has to come and kill Michael Myers before Michael Myers kills the other victims. I think that would be an interesting way to do that in that game, because I mean, if you look at Friday the 13th, yeah, a lot of times it was the main counselor that killed him. First one, Alice was the main counselor. She killed Mrs. Voorhees. Next one, Jenny and Paul were the main counselors. They took down Jason. Third one, Chris Higgins beat Jason. Fourth one, Tommy Jarvis supposedly killed Jason for good, but we all know that wasn't true because we had Friday the 13th 6 a couple years after, you know, 4 had come out. I mean, yeah, there was 5 in between those 2 movies, which people call the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, which it is. And let's see, yeah. 7, Tina killed him. 8, Rennie and them killed him. 9, his niece killed him. X, the lady that was his enemy in the first part of the movie, killed him. But in Michael and Halloween movies, the only ones that have really killed him, I guess you could say Tommy Jarvis or Tommy Doyle did in 6. He beat him. H2O, Laurie Strode, aka Catherine Tate, killed him. But I think that would be something they should think about. Like, let's have Lumez kill. Like, you call Lumez, he comes, he's the one that has to kill Michael Myers because you can't kill him. It's got to be Lumez. But, you know, something that kind of worries me is that it sounds like they're only going to focus on the first movie in the game. They're not going to focus on the other movies, which I think is stupid. Put the focus on the other movies too, just like the Friday the 13th game did. You know, have different maps, have, you know, different versions of Haddonfield that have shown up in the different versions of the movies. From 1 to 6. And the 2018 ones were in Haddonfield. I don't think they filmed it in the same area that they filmed the original Halloween movies. I think they filmed it in another area for the newer Halloween movies. But yeah. Or like if you do focus on the other movies from like 1 to the frickin' Rob Zombie remakes, then why not have Sheriff Brackett be the one to be able to kill Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie version? Because one of the good things you also want to see too is you want to see different versions of Michael Myers. Like, this is the part 2 Michael Myers from the second movie, which came in a 2-pack with that Loomis figure I showed earlier. And they gave him this long steak knife. Like, I want to see different versions of Michael Myers, like, you know, the Halloween 6 version of Michael Myers. Halloween Resurrection, because, you know, Michael Myers had some different looks in the movies. They might not have been totally different looks, but they were, you know, still different looks. Like between 6 and 2, how he looks in those. And he had a different look. I mean, let alone you could do all the different masks they've had in the freaking movie. Now the mask they're using for the game, it's gigantic. It looks like the mask that's on this Halloween 6 Michael Myers. But yeah, so I'd like to see them do, you know, different versions of Michael Myers from like Halloween from the first one, then Halloween from the second one. Like Michael Myers from the first one, Michael Myers from the second one. He wasn't in 3. Michael Myers from the 4th and 5th ones, Michael Myers from 6, Michael Myers from H2O, and I'd like to see the Rob Zombie versions of Michael Myers in this game. So hopefully they'll do that. They'll be like, alright, we'll do all that, give you what you want. I don't know if they will, because I don't know if they own the copyrights to all that or not, but apparently Malik, the guy that was the head guy of all the other Halloween movies, is apparently involved in this too. But you also got John Carpenter. But yeah, I'd like to see them do different versions of Michael Myers from the different Halloween movies. And I just don't want it to be focused on the first one, because that will get boring. Yeah, the first movie's great and all, and it's a masterpiece, but you know, you also want to play Maps for Part 2, and then you want to play as different Michael Myers. You want to play as Michael Myers for Part 1, you want to play as Michael Myers for Part 2, you want to play as Michael Myers for Part 4, Michael Myers for Part 5, Michael Myers for 6, Michael Myers for 7, H2O. Some people might even want to play as Michael Myers from, oh god, I don't like saying good things about this movie because of how much I hate it, but maybe people want to play as Michael Myers from Resurrection. And we want him to play, we want to see Michael Myers from the Rob Zombie remakes, even the newer Halloween, because even though I don't like the newer Halloween movies, Michael Myers still looked pretty cool in them movies. I liked how he looked in the movies. So let's get all the different Michael Myers from all the different universes of the Halloween movies. That's what they should do. And then add Loomis as the only person that can kill him in the game. In the later games you can get, like in the later, you can even have old lady Laurie Strode show up. And she could kill Michael Myers. You could have Sheriff Brackett from the Rob Zombie movies. Because Sheriff Brackett was a bigger president in the Rob Zombie movies than I think Dr. Loomis was. You know. So yeah, I think they should focus on making different versions. That's why the Friday the 13th game was so popular. And that's why people still want that game to come back. Even though it's been a year since the game got, well, almost a year since the game got shut down. But you know what? That game was so popular because they went through the different timelines of Friday the 13th. You had all the different Jasons. You were going to get this, and you had a new Jason created just for the game, Savini Jason. So yeah, I think they should like do it to where it's covering the whole Halloween universe, and let John Carpenter put his take on the Rob Zombie versions, on the later movies that came out after 3, where John Carpenter had no involvement in. Let him do his take on those. But I want to see Michael Myers from those from those movies in this game. And you know, like I said, and depending on which Michael Myers you're fighting, it will change the appearance of Loomis as well. Like if you're fighting the first couple of movies, you get the Loomis with the brown trench coat. If you're facing like Halloween 4 and 5 Michael Myers, you get the burnt face Loomis with the burnt hands and all that stuff. If you're facing part 6, when you call Loomis, it's the part 6 Loomis. You know, so yeah. I think that's what they should do with this game, and I hope that's what they do. I'm very excited for the game either way it goes. I just hope it's not just going to be all about the first movie, and then they just say to hell with the rest of the movies. Because I would hate, that would make the game not as popular as the older, as you know, the Friday the 13th game and that. So hopefully they are listening to me, which they're probably not, but hopefully that's why they're making us wait till next year, because they're going to be like, you know what, we should do these other movies, because if we do, people's going to enjoy the game more, and the game's going to get more playability and played more, and it could be the new Friday the 13th game if that's what they do. But we'll have to wait and see. Don't come out till next year. So I also hope the game's good, and I hope the gameplay's good and all that stuff, and you know what, we're probably going to get trolls in that like we do with Friday the 13th. Texas Chainsaw, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, now let's move on from Halloween and let's talk about the Hellraiser game. Oh yes, I have such sights to show you. Now Hellraiser, the game, I don't think they've announced when that's coming out. That probably will come out next year too, so you know, I made a joke about when I was doing this, but when I started the video, it was like the closest we'll probably get to a Pinhead versus Michael Myers fight. But they're going to be competing if they do come out next year. Those two games are going to be competing on who's going to play them more. Are people going to play Hellraiser? Or are people going to play Halloween? Pretty sure a lot more people will gear toward Halloween, and the reason why is because Hellraiser, although I consider it one of the big four, because you got the big four. You got Michael, you got Freddy, you got Jason, then you got Pinhead. Then after that, I'd go with Chucky, the Leprechaun, the Phantasm, or the Tall Man, the Chapman brothers. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But the big four to me are Hellraiser. The big four are Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Hellraiser. People say, well, the big three. It's Freddy, Jason, and Michael. But ever since Pinhead has come into the equation, Pinhead has been a part of that too. They are the big four. They're the Mount Rushmore of slasher horror movie characters, in my opinion. So yeah, there's a big four. Yeah, I guess you could go with the Ghostface Killer, and you know that after them. But yeah, you know Chucky's got to be up there, because Chucky's got to be right after the big four. But anyway, yeah, I think the Hellraiser movies, even though I think they're part of the big four, you know, a lot of people don't like Hellraiser as much as they love A Nightmare on Elm Street, as much as they love Friday the 13th, as much as they love, you know, the Halloween movies. They don't freaking, a lot of people don't like Hellraiser as much as other people do. Also, I mean, Leatherface has got to be up there with the big, after the big four. You know, you got to have him, Chucky and all them after the big four. But, yeah, and I think that's the main reason why I think, you know, Texas Chainsaw. Now look, I'm not a big Texas Chainsaw match. I like the first couple of movies, but there was a point where I didn't like none of the Texas Chainsaw movies. But, you know, I did start becoming a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, and, you know, I like those movies. But, That's the reason why I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is not as popular as Friday the 13th. Same goes with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Had it been an It, maybe if it had been a It freaking game or something, maybe people would care. But, you know, yeah, I mean, the Killer Clown are not as big as something like It. Or I guess you could say Art now, because there's only like 3, maybe 2. Yeah, there's only 3 big freaking clown movies that ever came out. The It movies, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and then the Art the Clown series called Terrifier. So yeah, I mean, you know, so I don't think Hellraiser's going to do as well. Plus, not only that, Hellraiser seems like it's just going to be a single player game, which I'm fine with, because there's no way you could do a Hellraiser game where you have a multiplayer aspect to it, because I just don't think it'll work. And, you know, that might be the case with Nightmare on Elm Street. Whenever they make a Nightmare on Elm Street game, there might be only... I mean, you could probably do that multiplayer, but I don't know. I don't think it'll work as well as a Friday the 13th game, because, you know, Freddy's in the dream world and all that stuff. But, you know, Hellraiser being single player, I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. I'll probably get my thoughts on it, probably around next Halloween time. Same with the Halloween game. I'll be giving my reviews of them games around Halloween time next year. But, yeah, I think Hellraiser, it's not going to do as well as the Halloween game. Because one, is just going to be single player, two. But I think Hellraiser is going to focus more on the Hellraiser lore. Like, movies like, you know, 4 and on. Now, this one, it's going to have a different person who's never been in any other movies. I think they said it might be a prequel to the first Hellraiser movie. I don't know. But it's about a guy who's got to go save his girlfriend, which is kind of in the vein of Splatterhouse. But it's about a guy who's got to go save his girlfriend from hell because, you know, she opened a box. She got the chains in her right after they show her boobies. And they even show the boobs in the trailer. It's like, wow. You know, if we were in the UK, people would definitely have to frickin' put their IDs on the frickin' thing to play Hellraiser and play Halloween. But thankfully, we're in America, so we don't have to deal with that. You know, but yeah, I mean the Hellraiser game I'm excited for. Same with the Halloween game. Both games look really good graphically. And, you know, I think, yeah, if you want a good single-player experience with horror, Hellraiser might be the game to go with. If you want a good multiplayer, you know, Halloween. But, you know, who knows? Because, you know, like I said, either one of these games can be good, but they're still not going to be as popular as the Friday the 13th game. Now, maybe Halloween could change that if they, you know, implement some of the things I said I hope to see in the Halloween game. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of other fans want to see that too. They just don't want to see the first movie. It's like if you're just going to do a game based on the first movie, heck, I could just go get my Blu-ray player, put on the first Halloween movie, and just watch the Halloween movie instead of playing a game of it. So, hopefully, it's going to be kind of like Friday the 13th, where you get all the different Jasons, you get all the frickin', well, where you get all the different Michaels. And, you know, maybe different Lumezes and all that stuff, too. But, because you don't have somebody trying to do a cheap imitation of Lumez's voice unless you plan on having Lumez in the game. And the only way you can do that is if he's, like, in the Tommy Jarvis role, where, like, you have to call him. He's got to be the one to kill him. I mean, you can't, and, you know, if they're not going to have you kill Michael as a victim, then yeah, it's got to be Lumez. Like, whoever becomes Lumez, they got to go kill Michael, save the other people from, you know, Michael Myers and kill him. You know, so I don't know. Because with Tommy Jarvis, once you kill Tommy Jarvis, you can just knock the mask off Jason and kill him that way. With Halloween, Michael Myers really didn't get his mask removed, except for freaking Halloween Kills. And even though it got removed, he put it right back on. Yeah, Laurie removed his mask in the first one, so yeah. But, yeah. Halloween Kills, I think, is the only time they took the mask off. And it seemed like they were trying to make it that, Michael having the mask off, it would weaken him. And if that's the case, and if the plan was to beat him down and kill him by taking his mask off, the friggin' people in Halloween Kills really screwed up because they just let Michael put the mask on and then they go after him. But anyway, yeah, I want to see different variants of Michael. I want to see different variants of Haddonfield. I want to see, characters like in the likeness of Jamie Lloyd and all that stuff where Michael's trying to kill her. Trying to kill Laurie Strode, trying to, kill his and freaking Jamie's baby. But, Paul Rudd saves him. The Ant-Man saves him. But, yeah. And Hellraiser, it's kind of giving me vibes of, Bioshock. So if Hellraiser, the game, is as good as Bioshock, I'll definitely enjoy the game. You see, I went back to talking about Halloween. That's how much, of a bigger fan of Halloween I am of Hellraiser. I do love the Hellraiser movies, but when it comes between Michael Myers and Pinhead, my fandom's going to go straight to frickin' Michael Myers. But, yeah. Anyway, but if it seems like it's going to be like Bioshock, and that's going to be cool. I wonder if they're going to have that frickin', that scary freaking creepy thing that was at the end of the first one. I don't know what it was called. They might have had a name for it since then. I just can't think of the name. But that thing was creepier than freaking Pinhead or any of the Cenobites. Also, hopefully we get a point where we take on, the Doctor for part 2, who kept going, oh, oh. But, yeah, so, yeah, we gotta get that Doctor. But, yeah, I think them limiting themselves, if it is gonna be just a prequel to the first game. And if it's a totally different adventure from the first game, from the first movie, that'd be fine. But it seems like it's just gonna be before the events of the first movie, and I'm like, come on, man, just make it its own little adventure. Pinhead took this dude's girl, and now the dude's trying to save him. But it does look like it does give me Bioshock vibes. I think it's going to be a first-person game, too, so I'm not fond of first-person games, but hey, I'll play Hellraiser because I love the Hellraiser franchise. Even some of the badder movies like frickin' Inferno and, But the last couple of Hellraiser movies I didn't care for. The last 2 that came out I didn't like. But, the rest I didn't have no problem with. But, I don't know. I just hope these games are enjoyable, both of them. And I hope that these games do well, because if they do well, not only will that tell Ilphonic, because Ilphonic is also making the Halloween game. Not only will that tell them more on bring back Friday the 13th. It also could open the doors for a Nightmare on Elm Street game. Wouldn't that be amazing? We ain't had nothing new from Nightmare on Elm Street since frickin' the 2010 remake, which I didn't hate. There are some things about it I hate, but then I still like that movie. I don't think it's that bad. I thought the guy who played Freddy was pretty good. Rorschach, a.k.a. What's his frickin' name? I forgot the guy's name. But the guy that played Rorschach, I thought he did alright as Freddy. But the way that movie was just made is what really hurt that movie. Had you had better acting from the main character being Nancy and all that, I mean, when you get a movie where you got Clancy Brown as one of the top characters, you need to frickin' bring your A game and make the movie better. Because Clancy Brown should not be wasted in a bad remake movie. Unless they bring him back for a Pet Sematary remake as Gus again. And you know what? I don't even hate Pet Sematary. I think Pet Sematary 2, I actually like Pet Sematary 2 better than the first one. I'm pretty sure a lot of people's like, what? You're crazy. First one's great. Yeah. Maybe, but I still like the second one better. And a lot of that has to do with Clancy Brown. But yeah. In fact, in one of the upcoming weeks, I'm going to be talking about the real villains of the Pet Sematary movies. So, you know, D.D. Conway has inspired me to make my own real villains freaking video. I'm going to make the real villains of the freaking Pet Sematary movies. You'll be surprised if I say the real main villain was in freaking Pet Sematary 2. I'm pretty sure you will. Maybe, maybe not, but we'll see. But yeah. I hope both these games are good. I hope they sell well, and I hope people are as excited for these games as I am. Because I'm excited for Halloween. I know a lot of people are excited for Halloween. I don't know about Hellraiser. And people say, well, the studio that makes Hellraiser made, I think, a bad freaking game for Evil Dead. Yeah, hopefully Hellraiser's better than that Evil Dead game. And plus, you're getting Doug freaking Bradley back as freaking Pinhead. Yes, I will be back with Doug Bradley as my voice actor. Yeah, it'd be like if you make a Nightmare on Elm Street game, and then you have freaking Robert Englund come back as Freddy Krueger. But yeah, I hope both the games are good. I hope they do well, and then hopefully that'll get people to get these guys back on their feet about bringing back Friday the 13th the game, and finally making us a good Nightmare on Elm Street game. But anyway, that'll do it. Let me know what you guys think about the new Hellraiser game. Let me know what you guys think about. I know when I commented about how excited I was for the Hellraiser game when it first got announced. I don't know if it was I don't know if somebody commented on the YouTube video I did that day, or if they commented on a comment I made about my excitement for Hellraiser. And they said, well, yeah, this company's the one making it, though. Like, yeah. I can't, but, yeah. I'm excited for the games. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to play them. And I hope Hellraiser is good. Especially if, you know, it's better than the Evil Dead game. I'll be fine with that. Even though I'm not a big fan of Evil Dead. So I never played the Evil Dead game. But I've heard people that were fans of Evil Dead who like the game, that hate the game. Yeah, it ruined the freaking Evil Dead vibes and all that stuff. So some people said they thought the game was good. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's a mixed bag with the Evil Dead game. Some people like it, some people hate it. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think about the Hellraiser game and the Halloween game. And you know what? I think this Halloween game is just going to be light years better than the one that came out this year. First of all, freaking Michael Myers looks like a freaking crazy cartoon in that one. And I don't know, it just don't seem as intense. But this new one does look like it's going to be intense. The only problem I got with is how freaking big the mask is on Michael Myers. You know, when I watched the trailer, I'm like, daggone, Michael Myers' mask is so freaking huge in this game. Yeah, so I'll probably say, well, that's what she said. No. Anyway. Yeah, let me know, comment, like this video, subscribe for more. I'm also going to announce some upcoming videos. We're going to do it in this, but I just want to talk. I want to do that opening sketch. So, I'll make an announcement. I'll probably talk about it on the live stream Friday when I do my playthrough of the Predator game, which means I can finally, like I did with Judge Dredd, I can finally unveil my Arnold Schwarzenegger song that I made up myself for the freaking, for when I do Mortal Arnold Schwarzenegger related videos. So, yeah. Like I did with the Stallone Judge Dredd game. Also going to talk about a possible contest I might be doing early next year. But yeah, I'll make a few announcements and all that stuff. And, shout-outs will be coming. Shout-outs will be back in that, because last week I did a big wrestling video, which was a really popular video. I covered a lot of wrestling topics on it. From the toys to the current wrestling product to stuff that happened in the old days of wrestling and all that stuff. Now, I didn't get around to talking about how I would have booked the invasion, but I did drop little hints of some things I would have done for the invasion angle that, they didn't do initially when it came out. So, yeah. But that'll do it. Catch you guys later. Peace out.